Hello? Your Health is Calling, where holistic health meets practical solutions for your well-being. With your host, speaker, New York Times bestselling author, Sue Kostyk, a seasoned holistic health practitioner and longevity coach. Join Sue each week to embark on a journey to uncover the root causes of your health concerns. Through a personalized approach, learn how to decode the messages your body is sending and craft natural protocols to address them. Call in live at 888-994-4995 Studio A.
Good morning. Welcome to Hello, Your Health is Calling. I'm Sue Kostyk, and I am an integrative health practitioner, which means that I practice holistic healing. We use all natural modalities to try to get to the root cause of what is actually going on and why you have the symptoms you have. Integrative health also is for people who just want to explore longevity and how they can live a long, healthy, happy life full of vitality. So it's pretty much a intersection of traditional Chinese medicine, ancient Ayurvedic medicine, and nutrition, all wrapped up into one. So that's me in a nutshell. So today's topic is going to really be about taking responsibility and why it is important and why it is really your responsibility to manage your health. And, no one is going to do it for you. So let's dive in and we're going to talk about responsibility. It is yours and yours alone. And, this is a topic that I think some people, I might hurt some people's feelings, and I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry, because your health is super important and it's not a hobby. I say that over and over again, that your health is not a hobby. It's really something that when you take care of yourself, your body thanks you and it's going to live a long time. And for people who are listening or watching that are younger, that are in your 20s, 30s, 40s, then now is the time to really step up and start taking it seriously, because truly the odds are against you. I've done several podcasts on, the fact that we have so much toxicity around us and there's nothing that you can really do to not have toxins in your life. And so if you ever want to go back, all of these live in YouTube at the Reinvented Life Network. Hello, Your Health is Calling. And they're titled. So you can go back and, I've done, I think, a series of even 2 or 3 on toxicity and what you can do about that. So with that said, and if you do go to YouTube, please like and subscribe, because that helps me and the network. And so it really is your responsibility. So no one can do it for you, really. We think that we look to the people in our lives to lead us along the path, and you really have to take action yourself. And if you are not experiencing, any kind of dis-ease, and we call it dis-ease instead of disease, because it's your body in a state of uneasiness and your symptoms are meaning something. So if you're already in that state, then prevention is not the path. Discovery is the path for you. And we'll talk about that in a little while. But for now, if you think that you're healthy and you're moving along life just hunky-dory, then prevention is the best path for you. And when I say prevention, I really mean just taking those steps to lead a healthy life and be mindful. Just be mindful of what you're doing. And, we are inundated, absolutely inundated on the internet, on social media, the commercials we're watching on television. And so I find that a lot of people are like paralyzed. It's like this, you get all this stuff thrown at you and you enter into what I call analysis paralysis. And so when you start, seeing all these things thrown at you, there's so much confusion, and there's all these influencers that are paid by whatever they are shoveling out, They are paid to get you to use their product, right? And unless they have a degree or certifications, they really don't have the information, all the information that they need. And there's so much confusion. And it's really quite alarming the amount of things out there. I had a friend who is dealing with quite a big health issue right now. And she's being inundated with things about products that could help her situation. And when you talk around your phone's listening, so all of a sudden, your feed is going to just have all this stuff in it. And my best advice to that is, instead of just putting a Band-Aid on something, figure out why you're experiencing it. So what is the best thing you can do? Where can you start? Because there is so much information and there's so many influencers, and there's a product for this and a product for that. And if you're experiencing, this symptom, then this is what you need to tell your doctor you need. So let's dig into what is the best. What is the best for prevention? If you are in a situation where you are just like, okay, I really want to work on my health and I want to work on longevity, then where do you start? Here are the steps you need. It is so basic and it is so simple. We make it hard because when you make changes, some of these things you might have to change. You might have to start implementing some of these things and our body doesn't like it. There's a whole mindset podcast that talks about changing your mind. So let's start in. So diet, right? Everybody knows that you should eat a healthy diet. But when things are thrown at us that you should do keto, you should do paleo, you should cut out carbs, you should have high protein carb cycling. I mean, there are so many different things out there, right? But when in fact, when you talk about diet, and I really wish we could come up with another word besides diet, because diet has such a negative connotation. So eating habits, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. If diet is a bad word for you, then let's just call it eating. And if you eliminate processed foods completely, ultra processed foods, then you are going to find a huge change in yourself. Eating only what's from the earth, what God gave us, that's pasture raised, the way that they were meant to roam the earth. I'm talking about the proteins, fish that is wild caught, that is not farm raised, because that's really, really gross if you really look into it. Anything that is just whole, there's nothing added to it. That is really how we should eat. That's how our bodies were made. That's how our bodies discover what it needs. And we need the things that grow from the earth. And that includes the proteins that eat from the earth. So I love the adage that it's not really you are what you eat what you eat eats. And if you are eating things that are ultra processed, if you are eating fruits and vegetables that have been maybe raised from a GMO seed that has been highly, highly sprayed with pesticides, then that's what you're eating. If you are eating a farm-raised protein and they are not given the diet that they were born to eat, then you're eating a lot of toxins and your body doesn't identify, it doesn't know what to do. So we're making our bodies work super hard. And so I'm going to stop at that because I could go on. And there's other podcasts that you can go back and watch about your diet or your eating habits. So let's go into exercise. And by exercise, I do not mean, going to the gym and doing 2 hours of cardio and, then some weights and just really killing yourself in the gym. That is not what I'm talking about. Because again, unless you're an ultra athlete, that is not the right exercise for you. And we tend to use exercise as punishment for bad habits and bad choices. So exercise should be something, movement, it should be something you enjoy. If you can get out in nature, in sunshine, and do your exercise outside, that's the best. But our bodies were made to move. You know, if you don't move it, you lose it. It's very, very true. I've seen it over and over again. And, you know, if you punish yourself with exercise, then that's not using it in the proper manner. That's actually very detrimental. And so moving every day, no matter, even if it's going out for a 20-minute walk, that is movement. That's opening your lungs to air and, you know, your blood flow. Our bodies are a huge lymphatic system. And I haven't done any podcast about our lymph system, but I may do that because it's super important. But exercise moves your blood through the lymphatic system and it cleans some of the toxins out. So moving every single day is super important for prevention. It prevents illness. It prevents all-cause mortality. Doing that 10,000 steps a day, I know that there's a lot of people out there that are saying, you don't need that. But it cuts down your mortality by a lot, actually. So with exercise, a lot of people manage their stress with exercise. And what I want to say about managing stress is if you go and do a really, really hard cardio workout or a hard lifting weights workout, you're adding more stress to your body. And so you're stressed out, then you're adding stress, and your body doesn't like it. So it's going to eventually rebel against that kind of activity. So when I say manage stress, I'm talking about understanding how stress really affects you and being able to manage it. So if you are in a super, super stressful job, then there is times throughout the day that you need to get up and remove yourself from what you're doing and move around. If you can get outside, take a 10-minute walk. If you can just quiet yourself. And because what stress is doing is it's activating your sympathetic nervous system. So you're going into that fight or flight. And if you're in a really stressful job, you're in flight or fight all day. So being able to get in and out of that is super important. And so managing your stress, understanding, we live in a completely bonkers, stressful time right now. And there's all sorts of different stresses. You know, if you're a new parent, there's stress. If you're caring for elderly parents, that's stressful. If you have a health situation for yourself, that's stressful. So understanding the different kinds of stressors and that there are things you can do. And if you do lead a very stressful life, then my recommendation is not to do hard workouts. And at the end of the day, do those things that lower your stress level, get you from the sympathetic nervous system into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and relax. Meditation, journaling, reading. Don't go home and watch a horror film. Don't go and do something that's going to add more stress. So that's going to be a really, really good thing for prevention. Stress will be noted as one of the number one causes of mortality. So it just puts so much damage on your body. So then we're going to talk about removing toxins. So this is a part where I think the analysis paralysis really sets in. I know it did for me because I all of a sudden wanted to change everything. And there's a lot of fear built up around this on the internet, on the social media. There's a lot of fear built up around, oh my gosh, you got to remove this and you got to change this and you got to spend all this money. And what I suggest to all of my clients when we are moving through each one of these things, because this is actually a protocol that I move my clients through. So when we get to that toxin removal, it's really about taking notice of what you have around your house. If you're using really toxic cleaning products, For women, well, actually men too, we put about 170 toxins on our skin alone every single day, especially women with the makeup. There are so many toxins in our skincare, in our makeup, in our shampoo, in our body sprays, all that stuff. So I just ask you to pick one area. If it's your beauty products, then go on the environmentalworkinggroup.org, ewg.org, and you can put in your product. Any product, actually. It doesn't have to be the skincare. It can be your cleaning products and household items as well. And it will rate it, and it will tell you. If you're in the grocery store, you can download Think Dirty app and scan a barcode, and it will tell you the level of toxicity. So there's a lot of help out there. And yes, it is like eating organic is more money than eating conventional. Putting organic, non-toxic skincare on you is a little bit more expensive than the regular stuff. But I guarantee you, you pay now or you pay later. So, you kind of choose. But start slow. Just pick one or two things. If you are, if you're using really, really toxic laundry detergents, then just start looking for something that's, a little bit less toxic. Start slow. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Get out of that. We get so paralyzed that we don't do anything. So find one or two things that you want to change. So the next thing that is one of the most important, in fact, I probably should have put this at one of the top, but it's our sleep. And if we are not prioritizing our sleep, our bodies we're not taking the garbage out at night. And that's the best way I can explain it, because when you sleep, that is when your body detoxifies. Now, if you're feeding it garbage, and if you are in a really, really high stress situation where your body's not able to settle down, so you're getting a really good amount of sleep or deep sleep, then your body can't go through all of its necessary steps to actually take the garbage out. So prioritizing sleep is super important. And people laugh at me all the time, but 7 to 9 hours, that's what you need. A lot of people say, oh, I am fine on 5 hours of sleep. Well, you are in that stage that you feel fine because you're so used to it, but your body's not fine. Your body is ready to break down. If you have been only getting 4 to 5 hours of sleep at night for several years, your body will be very angry with you, and you can only rob Peter to pay Paul for so long. So prioritizing sleep, if you have a really weird sleep schedule, and I want to eliminate the people who are on a night shift right now, because this does not apply to you. There's things that I do to work with my clients that actually are on a night shift. And if you say, oh, I'm a night owl, I go to bed at 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and get up at 6. And we have what's called a circadian rhythm, and it's the way we were created. We were created to get up with the sun and go to bed with the moon. So if our circadian rhythm is messed up, then a lot of the rhythms in our body is going to be messed up too. So when we need to start prioritizing our sleep, and when you want to start working on your sleep, let's say you want to do an earlier bedtime. Start with 30-minute increments. Don't just all of a sudden you go to bed at 1 and now you're going to bed at 10, because your body is so used to going to bed at 1. You need to kind of slowly ease yourself into it. So 30 minutes at a time is really, what I tell people. Just do that and really try to get to bed closer to 10 o'clock. I know it's difficult. Trust me, I have been a night owl for a very long time in my life. And it was really hard to get from the 11 o'clock to the 10 o'clock hour for me, because when I had all my kids at home, 10 to 11 was my quiet time, because my husband goes to bed early. And by the time the kids were done and, I was done cleaning up the kitchen, whatever, then that 45 minutes was my quiet time. It was my time. So it was really difficult for me. But now, I'm an empty nester, so I can go to bed whenever I want. But that was really hard. So I understand your pain. But getting more on a natural circadian rhythm is going to be very, very beneficial for prevention, for longevity, for your overall health. The next thing we're going to talk about is our emotions. I did a couple podcasts about emotions, and if we don't manage our emotions and understand what those toxic emotions are and what they're doing and how they affect your life, then your body is again always going to be in that fight or flight. Your cortisol is going to be off the charts. So really identifying toxic emotions, how you manage them, because we all have them, we all experience them. The bitterness, the anger, the resentment, the shame. There's 9 of them, and we kind of work through each one of those emotions. And it's okay. We have emotions for a reason, right? So it's okay to feel them. We need to, but you need to manage it. You need to let it go. So toxic emotions are really key in your overall longevity and prevention for disease. So we also talk about supplement. So when you want to talk about longevity, living a long life, prevention of disease, as we age, we start to be deficient in a lot of things because we simply cannot get it from our food anymore. And so what it is we identify where you're deficient in. It's not enough to say, go to Walgreens, grab a multivitamin, and you're good to go. I'm not even going to get on that bandwagon right now, but finding out where your deficiencies are. And a lot of these things we test in my practice. So we have functional lab testing that comes to your home, and you do this, and finding out your deficiencies, or maybe where you have too much of something. That's also important too. We need to find that out. When we're talking about managing stress, we have a test that actually shows me how you are managing your stress on a mineral basis, because our minerals are what helps us get through those. And so it helps me to know how your body is actually reacting to stress. Really cool. And then the last thing is changing your mind, because we know our mind is super strong and it gets comfy and we're okay with where we are. So, that's another thing, that when you want to live a long life and prevent getting disease, then you need to make up your mind to manage all these things that we've just gone through. So, I want to talk about toxicity a little bit more. And how do you know if you're toxic? Because your body's going to give you signs, and you can definitely take advantage of, figuring out if you're toxic. So how do you know? How do you know if you're toxic? If you have headaches, if you have sinus issues, if you have dark circles and bags under your eyes, if you have pain in your gums, if you get canker sores, if your glands are swollen, you lose your voice, you have raspy voice, especially after you eat something. If you have a chronic cough, you clear your voice a lot. Difficulty losing weight, all of a sudden you've gained weight, those kind of things. Your skin, are you all of a sudden breaking out? Do you have rashes? Is your sleep crappy? Do you have no energy? Do you have problems with your digestion? Are you depressed? Do you have a lot of anxiety? Do you get colds a lot? Are you always getting the colds? Do you have allergies? Do you get these really weird, unexplained illnesses? And do your joints hurt? Those are a lot of things that are going to tell me if you are toxic, if your body is not able to get rid of those toxins. So, finding those things out is super important. And also knowing, when you're talking about taking responsibility for your health, your health really affects all those around you. This is the part where, we have to take responsibility not only for ourselves, but for our loved ones. And, when you're healthy, you have a lot more energy. You, you have more of a positive attitude. And, taking responsibility for your health, if you don't take care of yourself, you know, your loved ones may have to step in and take care of you. If anybody is caring for elderly parents, I get it. I know, I've been there. And, it's just something that you do. But it has also taught me, I did it for my mom, and it has also taught me that I want to make sure that I take care of myself so that my kids don't have to. And I know there's things that are going to happen, and there's, it's not avoidable all the time. So please don't get me wrong. I'm not like shaming anybody here. But making the good choices now are going to really help you in the future and the ones around you. And, you could inspire your friends and family to make better choice too. Genetics definitely load the gun, but your lifestyle and your pull the trigger. And so if you have a genetic predisposition for something and you want your kids not to be, succumbed by that, then taking on the healthy habits now so that the genetics don't take over, then that's going to help, your kids and their kids, and you're just teaching them really great things. And, again, don't get into paralysis because there's so much out there, and I've just shared a lot of information with you. But the power of small, consistent action is really the key to success. It's not changing everything all at once. I talked about 8 different things that you can do to prioritize, but when you pick 1 or 2 things and just be consistent, taking responsibility for your health does not mean perfection. It really means just taking small and making better choices each day. So the power of small, consistent actions are going to be your best friend, really. What can you do? Can we move the slide, please? And you can, let's move it one more, sorry. The small, consistent actions are going to be, in the long run, what are some of the things you do? Choose water over soda. Soda is full of sugar. So sugar is going to make you crave more sugar. Eat the whole foods. Eat something not, processed. Eat an apple. Move your body every day. Take a walk. Do something you love. Take a dance class. If you like to dance, do that. Do yoga. Do meditation. Prioritize your sleep. One of the things that is so available, there's so much information available now, so you can educate yourself. You can read, you can ask questions, you can send me an email at support@helloyourhealthiscalling. There is so much information out there right now. You can even go into Chat GPT and say, if I wanted to be healthy, what could I do? And it's going to give you all these steps, I promise you. But honestly, what can you do right now? Right now, take one of those things we talked about and do it. Just change one thing. You can also go to my website, which is symmetryhealthandwellness.com, and you can book an appointment and we can chat. We can talk about things. I also have a Hello, Your Health is Calling package. It's like a discovery package, and it's something that I offer from the podcast, and it's really just a discovery package, and it's getting down to the nitty-gritty of what is happening. So it's like a 2-hour, not all at once, but it's about 2.5 hours of you and me, and you are going to explore. You're going to explore. There is a very in-depth intake form that you're going to fill out. We'll have a conversation. You're going to fill it out. We're going to get back together on another call, and I'm going to just go through all of this information with you, and we're going to review the data. So we're starting to connect the dots. I'm going to give you a roadmap on, what you need to do, what you need to pursue, And it's just going to give you more of a healthy outlook. And it's a game plan. It's literally a roadmap to health. And there may be other recommendations on it, but it's really it's a first step into this, and you're going to get so much information from it. And I have a 60-day reset journal you're going to get. You're going to get an anti-inflammatory food guide. It's just really getting you a personalized health plan. And it's $4.99. And, you can go to support at Hello, Your Health is Calling if you have questions about it. But it's really a good way to get started in taking responsibility for your health. Because like I said, no one's going to do it for you. You have to do it yourself. We all have been there. There's been something that's happened. And if you had the opportunity to take a natural approach to your health that uses only modalities that your body can recognize, you're going to be so far ahead of the game and stepping into that longevity journey. So remember, your health is not a hobby. And if your health is calling, if you are feeling a symptom, there are reasons for it. Your body's not messing up. And even if you are in a situation right now where you are doing pharmaceutical intervention and you're just not happy with the results you're getting, this could very well be for you. And thanks for listening, watching. I look forward to bringing you some more great information next week. So, hello, your health is calling. Please answer.
Thank you for tuning in to another empowering episode of Hello, Your Health is Calling with Sue Kostyk. Remember, your health journey is ongoing, and we're here to support you every step of the way. If you have any questions, insights, or stories to share, don't hesitate to reach out. You can connect with us on social media or call in live at 888-994-4995 Studio A. Together, we're transforming lives and embracing holistic well-being. Until next time, prioritize your health and remember, your health is calling.